It was Father's Day yesterday. Did you call your dad? I called mine. You better have. Now this is a Hallmark holiday designed to recognize dads and also make those with less than stellar parents feel badly about it. No matter, Bill Maher gave the shout out to the good old days when he says dads were dads and parents knew how to say no to bad kids. Let's listen.
I've seen a 7-year-old ram a shopping cart into someone's coccyx and the parent just shrugs and gives a look like, kids, what are you gonna do? Raise them right. That's what you can do. For as long as I've had a television show, the issue of parents overindulging their children has been a topic of discussion. So it's not like it's new. But it hasn't gotten better either. We were talking about trophy syndrome in 1993, and then it was helicopter parenting, and then bulldozer parenting. And now we have gentle parenting, or as it used to be known, negotiating with terrorists. British author Sarah Ockwell-Smith, who coined the term, said, the key here really is thinking, would I like it if someone did this to me? If the answer is no, then why would you do it to your child? Because they're a child? Would I like it if someone stripped me naked and plopped me down in a tub of water? No, but with a kid, that's just bath time. I keep hearing how parenting is so hard these days. Yeah, because you're making it hard. Gentle parenting. It's like a Taco Bell breakfast. The reason it feels wrong is because it is.
That's not all. Bill Maher continues here.
This is why the traditional dad, the trad dad, needs to make a comeback. Not all the way back to the 1950s psychopath who never said he loved you and hit you with a belt, no. But just back to the dad who believes that because I said so is a perfectly legitimate answer to any question a child may have. Just back to the dad who would never say anything as stupid as, my kid is my hero. Or where do you want to eat dinner? Or one more story and then we really have to start thinking about going to bed, okay? Yeah. Trad dads don't negotiate. They say, you will apologize to your mother. Don't make me turn this car around. Some things just happen because life is unfair. Clean your room, be quiet, the adults are talking, and it's not all about you. Mostly, a trad dad knows he's your parent, not your friend. Hey, buddy isn't in his vocabulary. He isn't your emotional support animal. He's simply a guy who understands the job, to raise an adult who can survive in the wild.
So that was very much an old man yells at cloud kind of rant, and I completely agree with every word
bit
of it. Yes, we've been observing this trend for too long of parents getting too soft and kids getting too coddled and spoiled, and people can probably make too much of that phenomena at times, but fundamentally, yeah, no. Okay, I'm childless.
Listen,
you're
so am I.
childless, I believe.
But anyone who's gone into a Walmart
yes,
at 10 a.m.
they're just running amok.
They're everywhere. They're running. I mean, they run around like little terrorists, terrorizing everyone. We all have that friend who's got that terrible
Control
kid.
your children or else.
Yes. I mean, we all have that friend who's got the kid.
I will control them.
Who we love the parents and hate the kid and really don't want to go over their house anymore because their kid is so obnoxious.
I mean, look, I like kids. I love playing video games.
I'm a big kid.
Love breaking out the Mario Kart, the Super Smash Brothers with the
Absolutely.
nieces and nephews, the kids of people I'm friends with who are all great parents. I'm talking about the kids I see, yes, in the shopping stores. Exactly, they're wreaking havoc, and I'm like, I wouldn't. It's not like my parents were especially violent with me. I was never like beaten as a child, but
I knew better.
If I had ever misbehaved in a restaurant or a store. I mean, it would never occurred to me to do it because of the death glare I would have gotten from my parents. The threat. It's the threat of implied force. You know, it's nuclear deterrence. They're not going to nuke me, but they could. So I'm not going to act out.
The most terrifying words you can hear as a black child are "wait till you get home."
Yeah.
That phrase right there is everything. That is the car ride, the walk up to the front door. You know, as soon as you walk in that door, you're in trouble. I watch these kids who yell at their parents, and the parents are trying to negotiate with them. Oh, Bobby, just wait. Just come on. We'll stop at Chick-fil-A on the way home. Like, no, that is not how you do it. Shut up, sit down, be respectful. Like, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard.
So what has gone wrong? I can point to a couple things. My colleague at Reason Magazine, where I also work, Lenore Skenazy, who writes about, she's leader of the free-range kids movement. She's written a lot about the lack of actually independent play that children get now. They are coddled, and it's not all parents' fault because there was a legal push to forbid, you know, kids can't bike to school by themselves anymore.
Which is what we used to do as kids.
What we used to do.
I went to school in the morning. My mom had already gone to work. I went to school all day, came home.
Exactly.
My mom was working, so I had to make dinner. Like, I'm an only child. Now you have kids who don't want to get a driver's license. They can't go anywhere by themselves. There is a real lack of independence.
Right, and that fosters immature young adults. That they don't learn resiliency, is her theory. So then they become more dependent on their parents, and it's just unhealthy for everyone. And some of the legal changes we've made have done that. You know, every year there's a handful or more in various states of parents who get like arrested or investigated by child services because they let their kid play in their own backyard where it's perfectly safe, and there's just this safety tyranny mindset that's ended up criminalizing ordinary, perfectly responsible childhood play, where they develop some resiliency and they bruise their ankles, they skin their knees.
You break a wrist. That's what you're supposed to do.
What you're supposed to do, and that has had a really negative impact on child psychology.
And I think also it's led them to not be able to handle any type of real opposition when bad things happen. Life is going to kick you in the face. At some point, you're going to have adversity. Something's going to happen. You're not going to get into the college you want. There's going to be a teacher that doesn't like you. Somebody's, going to hold you back from something, not because you're not good enough to get the job, but because there's just someone else who's unqualified who's going to get it. Kids now, I feel like, can't handle that. And the second something happens, they shut down. And that's, I think, the real long-term effect that worries me, because you're going to have a bunch of kids who aren't going to be able to handle life. They're not going to be able to handle the job market. And COVID really made things worse because you had kids who now didn't have to interact with other kids at their school. Everything was on a computer. Everything was at home. There's a lack of social skills.
Yeah. I think Bill Maher really got to it there by saying we're not advocating like a return toward, I don't think, spanking or any of that.
Don't go get a switch and hit your kid now.
Absolutely not. You shouldn't fear your father figure. It shouldn't, the never show emotion thing is bad. Totally on board with that.
That's how we all ended up in therapy.
But we've gotten a little bit to a place where, I've had this argument with the person sitting in the other seat on this chair several times. I think we have gone, and the conservatives have complained about going so far down the direction of sort of demonizing traditional masculinity entirely. There can be a kind of healthy masculinity where children are respectful of and deferential to their authority figure in their life. It doesn't have to be a dad, but in most traditional family situations, which is ideal it is. It's not saying that's the only family situation that could exist at all, but we don't have to, that we've gone too far in saying it's wrong to have strong male role models. It's in fact very good for kids to have strong male role models.
I grew up in a single mother household. I was lucky enough to have grandparents who also were there and a stepfather who was there to step in. But as I just got married in March, I told you, and I see my role as a provider and a protector, and there's nothing wrong with that. My wife is extremely successful, but that doesn't mean that I don't have what I feel like is a role in that marriage. And once we have kids, I feel like my role is even more so to protect and provide and make sure that my son or daughter turns out to be a good person and does the things and becomes the person that we want, which is someone who's morally together and just treats people well.
Right. Not everything that is like normal and traditional needs to be utterly destroyed
No.
by new convention. It can be tweaked.
Some things work
It can
for
be
a reason.
improved, but some things that have been done for all of human history were probably fine.
Yeah, it's, having a single parent household is how it ends up sometime, but no one wakes up and says, that's how I want to raise my child.
Right, and we're not demonizing or stigmatizing people who are in that situation.
No.
And you can make a family out of any combination
Absolutely.
of people, but we know what the ideal is, and we can try to encourage society to have an ideal in terms of these kinds of things.
Everything doesn't have to be outside the lines, but it's okay when you do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, more Rising right after this.